that pay the wages of the laborer before his sweat dries. And this is also something important for us to understand. Pay the wages of a laborer before his sweat dries. So, but you gotta work first. Some people you pay them in front and then they show up. So after every work, we would like to be rewarded. And our rewards that we hope for is from Malikul Mulk. Maliku Mulk Samawati wal Ard. The owner of the heavens and the earth. We want our rewards from him. After all these, the plane tickets, the traveling, the supper, cooking of food, cleaning the toilets, preparing the place, all of this. And now, today is the last day, but it doesn't mean the end of the effort. It's always mentioned that an Ijtmah is a halting point. An Ijtmah is a pause between two efforts. An effort before, and then an effort afterwards. In between is the Ijtmah. So we would like to leave here with the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As I said, whenever a person does something, he wants to be rewarded, and he should be rewarded. That is why the dua after the Fajr Salat is muhimmun jiddan, very important. And very few people even pay attention or care about making dua after the Fajr. Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us that we have two occasions daily. There are many occasions, but daily. There are two occasions when our duas are more readily accepted and more quickly accepted. One is at the time of tahajjud. At the time of tahajjud, raise your hands, that dua, that time, it is asra'u lil ijaba. A time is a time in which it is quicker and more rapid for the acceptance of duas. Asra'u lil ijaba, that waqt and time of tahajjud. It's a time in which duas are accepted quicker than in any other time. So one said it's the time of tahajjud. And he said, other one, it's after as-salatul maktuba, after the Fajr Salat. After the Fajr Salat. But sometimes we perform Salat, we just walk out. Or the Imam is making a dua, we don't participate in the dua. In fact, there's a whole long topic by itself. And Ijtmah dua, after the Fajr Salat, that's a whole long topic. To make it short, one of our great scholars who has passed away, Hazrat Mufti Zarwali of Pakistan, who was an ocean of knowledge, Nawwalallahu marqadahu wa nafa'ana bi ulumi amin. He says, uski सबूत है किताबुल्लाह से, सुन्नत से और इज्मा से और फुक़हा से. It is so, but there's no time to go into that. But the point is, the Nabi alayhi salam said that the dua after the Fajr is accepted. My Ustad, our Shaykh al-Hadith from Bangalore, Sabil al-Rashad, Hazrat Mufti Ashraf Ali Rahimahullah, where he used to tell me that it's not nice to see people come into the house of the king, the house of Malikul Mulk, come into the house of Rabbul Alameen, and you perform your fard and you just walk out. At the same time, you just walk out. Just move as though you not need anything. Not nice. It shows Ijtmah, and one must never show Ijtmah and independence from Allah. We must always show that we are in need. If we get a chance, the president calls us, or the prime minister calls us, or some king or some badsha calls us into his presence, we get a chance. We go, and we go with the expectation of receiving some favor. This is the month of what? Oh, Rajab has gone. Wow. Today is the first of Sha'ban. First of Sha'ban. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan ya Rabbal Alameen. So the point is that a person has made his wudu and he leaves home, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the likeness of a person leaving home with wudu for salat is as the likeness of a person leaving home in a state of ihram to perform hajj. In a state of ihram. And every footstep that he takes gets a blessing. One sin is wiped out. Every footstep. And in one riwayat, he gets a daraja higher, higher. Some Sahaba, they wanted to move closer to the masjid in Medina. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, no, stay where you are. But when you leave home with wudu, it's like in a state of ihram. And in every footstep, a blessing, sin being forgiven, and one daraja. And as long as you are in the masjid waiting for salat, you get the reward as though you are in salat. We hear this in Tali over and over again. So sit down, and we get the reward as though we are in salat. The salat is finished. Once salat is finished, now it's time to bed. Nabi alayhi salam said that dua is maqbool. The dua of the fard, because you have fulfilled your fard. In fact, in Hayat al-Sahaba, it is mentioned that Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that the Sahaba, whenever they had some hajat, whenever they had some need, they would take it to the first and wait for that time to ask. You know, you gotta wait for a time to ask, you know. I mean, we could ask Allah for anything, anytime, but there are certain adab and etiquettes. Even when Zakaria ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wa salam had to make his dua, he would wait for the time of tahajjud and he would ask something special. So Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala said, Khudu hawaijakum ila al-maktuba. Khudu hawaijakum ila al-maktuba, aw kama qala radiallahu anhu. He says, take your needs to the first prayer. Take your needs to the first prayer. You're gonna need, we all have needs. So when the salat is finished, now is the time to bed. خُذُوا حَوَائِجَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَكْتُبَةِ. Take your needs to the first prayer. Now beg. Nabi alayhi salam said that dua is accepted. So then why do we run away? And just turn away as though we're not in need. But if we were in the house, a millionaire call us, or he's a billionaire, come, do something for me. We expect some material gain. But the gains that we will get from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is khayrun wa abqa. Walal akhiratu khayrun wa abqa. The akhirat is everlasting, it is better. So we make that dua. So as I said, उसकी सबूत है और and दुआ ना इज्तिमाई है. There is also subut and evidence of that from Kitabullah, from Hadith, and from Fiqh, the Fuqaha. But we're not really going into that now. Then after the dua, we are sitting in the masjid. And as long as the person remains in that place that he performed the salat, it's going on, right now it's going on. The angels are making dua for him. Allahumma gfir lahu, hey Allah forgive him. Oh Allah forgive him. Allahumma arhamhu, oh Allah have mercy on him. Allahumma gfir lahu, oh Allah forgive him. Allahumma arhamhu, oh Allah have mercy on him. Wow, all these blessings. But after salam, it's a bad habit that after the Imam gives his salam, people just get up and they run out. Al-Hasan al-Basri. Who does not know Al-Hasan al-Basri? When we talk about Tazkiyah, yesterday our Mufti from Chicago, I don't know his name, but, Nawal al-Rahman. He was saying yesterday, Hafirahullah. Oh, I forget what I wanted to say. What I was talking about? So, he was saying that how it's so important, all of this from Chicago. He was saying it's so important that the ulama take part in this work. They are like the engines. And this was mentioned by Moulana Sayyid Ahmad Khan Sahab. And with this da'wat, when you go to different villages, cities, countries, with the da'wah, you also take and carry in. So that's how the Sahaba used to move. That's how the Sahaba used to move. So with the da'wah, you carry in. That's why it was said that the Jamaat is like a moving madrasa. It's a moving madrasa. So the Sahaba, when they would move, they would take the da'wah, call people towards Allah, of course, which is a sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya ayyuhan nas, qulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu. O people, say la ilaha illallah. If you say that, tuflihu, you're going to get falah and success. That's what we do. We go out. We go out there to call the people. So, as Hazrat was saying, the Jamaats move out. And the ulama should take part and be part and parcel of the Jamaats. And they go with the da'wah. And they connect with it ilm. So wherever they go, in knowledge will spread. And they connect with it, dhikr and tazkiyah. Zikr and tazkiyah. It's so important. One must not think that da'wat and tabligh is the role of deen. No. Haven't we been told that if the 6 points come into us, and the rest of the deen will be easy to practice upon? So the rest of the deen is where? So as Hazrat was saying yesterday when he had the ulama majlis, one shouldn't think, well, bas, I am in da'wat and no other काम is zaruri. No, the da'wat is zaruri. And also the ilm, ta'aleem and ta'allum, establish madaris, maktabs, madrasas, teaching in every masjid, especially maktab. Because maktab is the foundation for the ummah. When you see young children coming to the masjid, there is maktab and they're learning. That's a good sign. and then madrasa, ilm and ta'aleem. Establish that. Together with zikr. And zikr does not only mean to take a tasbih and say subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Zikr means tazkiyah. It's about tazkiyah, which is a separate science by itself. And as I have understood it, that we are very fortunate to have Hazrat Mufti Sahib with us, because he is a Khalifa of Hazrat Moulana Masihullah of Jalalabad. Many of you may not know who is Moulana Masihullah. Nawwar Allah barakatuhu wa nafa'ana bi ulumihim amin. Hazrat Moulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi, he had many Khalifas, but he had 4 top Khalifas. I just called 2 of them. One was Moulana Masihullah, one was Moulana Wasiullah. And if you had any contact, if you had ever met Moulana Masihullah, subhanallah, his way, his method, his tertib, his clothing, Allahu Akbar. They used to call him also Hazrat Ji. We had one Hazrat Ji in Nizamuddin, Hazrat Moulana Sheikh Inamul Hassan. And when you go to Jalalabad, they also call him Hazrat Ji. And he is a Khalifa. We are very fortunate, Guyana is very fortunate to have him, because the footsteps of our Kabir in a certain place, in a certain country, those footsteps bring the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Footsteps in the path of Allah, from the awliya of Allah, from the people of Tazkiyah, from the people. So when it is said about da'wat and ta'aleem and ta'allum, madrasa, madaris, maktab, and zikr, what is meant by zikr is khankan tazkiyah, where a person now starts to work on his nafs, and he can only get control of your nafs bi luzum al-dhikr. Hazrat Shah Waliullah said that, bi luzum al-dhikr, fa'in kulta wa bima uzakki nafsi kultu bi luzum al-dhikr. Moulana Qamrul Zaman from Allahabad, when he came, I asked him the same question. I said, Hazrat, how does a person get control over this nafs, this arrogance, this ego, the carnal desires, the lower self? I said, Hazrat, how do I get it? And Hazrat Moulana Qamrul Zaman took a pen and wrote it out for me, and I had it stick up in my office. The same question was asked to Shah Sahib, Hazrat Moulana Shah Waliullah. فَإِن كُنْتَ وَبِمَا أُزَكِّي نَفْسِي. If you should ask what it is I can use, what's the best thing to purify myself, to purify this heart, to purify this soul, to get a control over my nafs, my greed, my ego, all these things. قُلْتُ بِلُزُومِ الذِّكْرِ. I would say by holding on to the zikr, and then he continues, but that's not the topic today. He continues, and so why I said that is because when the 3 things are combined, da'wat, and then Hafiz Sahib, you all know Hafiz Patel. Oh, Hafiz Patel, Hafiz Sahib. Nawwar Allah barakatuh. وَنَفَعْنَا بِعُلُومِهِ. Hafiz Sahib was a waliullah. I noticed in Panama, I was there in Panama, Medina Masjid, and there was an alim who spoke for 2 hours, and he gave a real ilmi bayan, a hadith, Quran, real ilm. And after the bayan tashkil, nobody stood up. And I see Hafiz Sahib coming from upstairs. His face is filled with nur, because between Maghrib and Isha, as Hafiz Sahib time, he doesn't give bayan that time. Any other time, okay, but Maghrib and Isha, that's his time for Allah. Would it be Ijtmah? No Ijtmah? But he comes down now. It comes up before Isha. And Hazrat spoke for about 5 minutes, and then everybody got up and gave their things. So the people of Tazkiyah, it's so important to benefit from them, to be in their sohbat, to be in their companionship. So we are very lucky to have Hazrat Mufti Sahib with us. Hafidahullah, may Allah preserve our Kabir or Mashayikh. So, like that I was talking about Al-Hasan al-Basri. Al-Hasan al-Basri, when you go into the line of Tazkiyah, when you go into the field and the science of Hadith, there is something called Sanad. Even when we do Bukhari, وَبِالسَّنَدِ الْمُتَّصِلِ إِلَى الْإِمَامِ الْحَافِظِ Amir al-Mu'mineen fil Hadith, Abi Abdullah, you going right? So in a hadith, there's a sanad. And it's important to have a sanad. One of the problems today is that people, they go and they do their own research in the library or study a few books, and then they'll start want to pass fatwas and want to give masail. So I'm asking you, let's ask ourselves the question. So this guy went and he studied books of medicine and books of surgery. So after studying these books of medicine and surgery, my child gets sick and he has to do a surgery. Am I going to take him to that doctor? But he studied? No. Back in Bangalore, Sabil Rashad. And how do we reach in Sabil Rashad? Hazrat Ji sent us here. Moulana, Sheikh Inamul Hasan, Hazrat Ji. He was called the man with the X-ray eyes. The man with the X-ray eyes, when he would watch you so, it's like he could see everything. Hazrat Ji. 6th, 1973. Jalalabad was there. Jalalabad. Nadwatul Ulama was there. Moulana Abul Hassan Nadwi. Darul Uloom Deoband was there. Mufti Mahmood, Qadi Tayyib Sahib, Hakimul Islam. Saharanpur was there. Hazrat Sheikh al-Hadith Moulana Yunus. Wow. Where did Hazrat Ji send these boys from West Indies? First Shaman to leave the whole of the Caribbean? He already had X-ray eyes. Still go to Bangalore, Sabil Rashad, the Tarbiyat of Bade Hazrat, Moulana Abu Saud. And he did well. Because if he had sent me to Jaber, I had run away. Because too strict shit that I had run away. But Subhanallah. But with this test here, insight comes, basirat comes, hikmat comes. That is why Hazrat was saying that Mufti Saeed Ahmad Khan Sahib was saying, connect the tree, don't separate them. He said that I just said madrasa alone. Or you know what, I just zikr wala alone. Or I just do it jawla alone. Only jawla, only gosh. Why don't you sit down in a class sometimes? You're doing jawla, you're doing gosh for how many years? Have you ever sat down in a class to learn tajweed, to learn some masala and masail? In fact, all our Hazrat Ji says is be'adabi, that if an alim is having a dars in a masjid, it's be'adabi to go outside now and have a jamaat and tashkil and go and do jawla. And there's a dars of tafsir going on or something going on, be'adabi. It's against the usul of the all the Hazrat Ji said it. So it's important that our workers understand that we have to connect all three. Yateen ka, hamara ka. Hafiz have always trusted it to da'wat and tabligh. Ilm, madrasa, and tazkiyah. Before I forget, Moulana Umar Palanpuri. Oh, those were the days that Nizamuddin. Hazrat Moulana Umar Palanpuri used to say, अगर इबादत की नूर मिलना चाहते तो इबादत की नूर मस्जिद में मिलेगा. So you'll get the nur of ibadat in masjid. You perform your salat, you feel good, you do tilawat, you feel good, you come early for Jummah, recite surah Kahf, you feel good. You get the nur of ibadat, masjid mein milega. Or ilm ki nur, madaris mein milega. You want to get that ilm, the nur of knowledge and ilm, you have to go to the madaris, madrasas, with the teachers who have the sanad. They're not quacks. और अगर ईमान की नूर मिलना तो ईमान की नूर अल्लाह की रास्ते में मिलेगा. Only human path, for instance, that when going in the path of Allah, you will get the nur of iman. Nur of iman. Sahab, iman has to be learned. Iman has to be learned. You can't learn iman from a book, you know. تعلمنا الإيمان ثم تعلمنا القرآن. We have to learn iman first. Sahaba said we learned iman first and then we learned Quran. They learned iman by mujahada, by sacrifice, by qurbani. And when you go in the path of Allah, you want the ilm, you want the nur of ibadat, get it in the masjid. And we all know that. When we perform our salat at home, you don't feel that. Get it in the masjid. इबादत की नूर मस्जिद में मिलेगा और इल्म की नूर मदरसा में मिलेगा. The nur of ilm because the madrasa, because the teachers have sanad, which is the chain of narration that connects that ilm to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or iman ki nur Allah ki raste mein milega, and the nur of iman you find it in the path of Allah. I'm sure every Jamaat has some story to tell of how they have witnessed some karamat in the path of Allah, Allah's nusrat in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, we connected our tree. Dawat, madrasa, maktab, khamkam, zikr and tazkiyah. Very important. Our mashayikh. So, I was talking about Al-Hassan al-Basri. Al-Hassan al-Basri. Who doesn't know Al-Hassan al-Basri? He grew up in the laps of the Sahaba. Hazrat Anas ibn Malik, our late Sheikh and mentor, Hazrat Moulana Yusuf Mutala, who was one of the Mahbub Tareen Khalifas of Hazrat Sheikh Moulana Yusuf Mutala. In his book Jamal-e Muhammadi, he says that Hazrat Anas ibn Malik, when he used to see Al-Hassan ibn Basri, he says, Huwa Moulana. Huwa Moulana. Which is a dalil also for our laqab. Moulana Suhail, Moulana so and so. Hazrat Anas ibn Malik, because he lived for a long time, through the barakat of the dua of the Rasul, long life, plenty children, and barakat in his wealth. So Anas ibn Malik, who is a Sahabi, and when he would see Al-Hassan al-Basri, he would say, Huwa Moulana. He is our Mawla. Our Mawla. So, was talking about Da'wat, Ta'aleem and Ta'allum and Tazkiyah, and just as in Hadith, there is a Sanad. And in Tirmidhi, the last piece of writing in Tirmidhi Sharif is Inna hadha al-hadith deenun, that this hadith, knowledge of hadith, it is deen. فَانْظُرُوا أَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. Therefore you got to look and see from whom are you taking your deen. Now I lived in India for 8 years. So at that time we didn't need no visa and all that kind of thing. We could stay how long we want. But it has some people who call themselves Ahle Hadith. But the real Ahle Hadith was people like Shah Sahib, Moulana, Anwar Shah Kashmiri or Qadir Ejio, but they are Ahle Hadith. But people take up a Hadith book and then take up some book and they start to read and they start to give maslas and they misguide people. They are describing and they describe others. No, there is a method. The method is ta'aleem and ta'allum. And you know when that learning started? Alright? It started with the creation of our father, Hazrat Adam. Ala nabina wa alayhi salatu wa salam. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Allah taught Adam the names of everything. Even taught him in Tafsir Jalal in his mention, this is a spoon, this is a bowl, this is this. And he taught him the nature, the sifat of these things, and taught him the purpose. So the things, this is fire, the nature of fire is the bird, this is water. So he taught Allama Adam al-Asma'a. Allah taught Adam the names of all things, the names and the characteristics and the sifat of these things, the attributes of these things, and the reason for the creation. So learning and teaching is something which was established with our father Adam and Allah. Right? So therefore, it is important that in Tirmidhi is mentioned, this is the last piece of writing. Gaudiman was of Ibn Sirin, isn't it? Hazrat Alama Ibn Sirin. Inna hadal hadith. Deenun. This hadith is deen. This hadith is deen. Don't go and take it from everybody and anybody. فَانْظُرُوا أَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. Look and see from whom you are taking your deen. Because as we learned in Bangalore, Sabina Rashad, he said, name Hakim Qatre Jan, or name Mullah Qatre Iman. Name Hakim Qatre Jan. You go to a quack doctor, you're putting yourself in trouble. Your life could be in jeopardy, in danger. You go to a quack, he's a quack. Name Hakim Qatre Jan, or name Mullah and a quack alim. While who studied a lot of books, library and research, but he didn't have a teacher. He didn't have an ex-teacher, he has no sanad. Qatra Iman puts your Iman in Qatra danger. So, and our whole aim and objective, as I said, we want to leave here today, Sunday, we want to leave with gifts. And for me personally, the best gift that we can leave here with is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah becomes pleased with us. Allah makes us amongst His awliya. Ala inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من في الحديث القدسي من عادى لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب. So the best gift we can leave here with is a love for Allah, a love for da'wat al-tabligh, a love for mankind. Right? Hazrat was also mentioning about love. Right? You do something for love, nobody has to tashkeel you. Right? In fact, this morning I wanted to talk about love, but things have just happened. Qadarullah, masha'afa. I wanted to talk about love this morning because Allah was talking yesterday about doing things with love. Right? And of all the sifat, the greatest sifat is the sifat of love. When there is love, nobody has to tell you to do anything. When you're in love with a girl, somebody doesn't tell you to buy roses for her. I know one brother who married a girl from a foreign country, a beautiful pretty girl from a South American Spanish country. And when it was her birthday, every hour he had roses sent for her. Every hour, roses being sent for her. My God. So when you're in love, nobody, you will say, I will do the dishes for you, I will help you, I will do this, I will do that. So if the love comes in, so what are we looking to leave here today with? If the love of Allah comes in, love of Rasulullah comes in. Love of the effort of Rasulullah comes in, which is what? Being so much of fikr. فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاكِيٌ نَفْسَكَ. Perhaps you're going to kill yourself with so much of worry and grief. If the love of da'wah, and we understand, and when we leave here today, that there are about 7 billion people in the world. There are 7 billion people in the world. Alhamdulillah, 2 billion of these people are Muslims. But when we leave here today, if we leave with the gift that Allah gives us, love for Himself, love for Allah, Allah's pleasure, وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. Allah says, I'm not better than my pleasure. وَرِضْوَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. Allah's pleasure. That Allah becomes happy with us, we become happy with Allah. And that's the thing about love. Fishman, that's you. Love. You need love, love on a two-way street. There was a song, a nice song. I found love on a two-way street and lost it on a lonely highway. I found love on a two-way street and lost it on a lonely highway. That's the kind of love we're talking about. We love Allah and Allah loves us. But in Tazkiyah, the Mashayikh and the Ahlullah says, you can only love Allah when Allah loves you. That's how it works. When Allah loves you. So, as was Bayazid Bustami, he said, I said that I love Allah, but I was wrong. It is Allah who loves me. So we leave here today with love for Allah. That Allah becomes happy with us. We leave with love for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We leave here with the love for the effort of Rasulullah alayhi sallam, because his concern was for his ummah. His concern in the dunya was for his ummah. His concern in the akhirah will be for his ummah. When everybody will be nafsi, nafsi, ummati, ummati. We leave here with our concern that there are 7 billion people. I want Allah to use me. Allahumma sta'amilni li khidmati dinik. Allah use me for the khidmat of your deen. Wa ifsha'i sunnati nabiyyik. And use me to spread the sunnah of your prophets. Ameen. Because when you travel, when the Jamaats travel, and they carry the sunnahs, people become Muslims. Jamaica, so many incidents in Jamaica that people became Muslims just on seeing sunnahs, just on seeing people eat together. And we live with that. So with that, now we will have a figure for our own house, our own home, a figure for them, a figure for our masjid, our locality, a figure for the surrounding localities, a figure for our island, for the islands, for the Caribbean, for Latin America, South America, North America, a figure for the whole world, because Rasulullah alayhi salam, he drew his circle, not like how we draw circles. We draw small circles. We draw a circle, and my circle is just about me and my immediate family. And then sometimes a person draws a bigger circle, he includes his other siblings and their families. And then one draws a bigger circle, he includes his extended family. Nabi alayhi salam's circle was for the whole world, the whole mankind. So if we leave here with that love for the effort, and you know what? What I want for myself, I want it for my brothers. And that is hadith. I hadith, otherwise we're very selfish. We're very selfish. Our circles are too small. Circles are too small. Just as I don't have to talk it and say it, but you know what is going on today, and you know what dhulm and oppression is going on today, how the world is filled with injustice, but Allah never sleeps. Allah never sleeps. Alright? وَقَالَ قَائِلٌ وَنَهُ السَّلَفِ صَالِحٌ. One of them was Salafi Salih, he said, إِذَا كُنْتَ لَا تَسْتَطِيعُ رَفْعَ الظُّلْمِ. If you are not able to remove the zulm and Stop it. Alal aqal, that the least you could do, akbir jami'an, will speak about it, talk about it, inform others about it. And Nabi alayhi salam told us the same thing. How the hadith starts? Marra'a minkum munkara. Whoever sees a wrong thing being done, فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ. Stop it with your hand if you have the ability. A wrong is being done, a zulm is being done, some sister, her pardon, her sanctity, her sacredness has been violated. Don't go in emotion and perform 2 rakats. Be brave. Stand for her, defend her. If you can't do that, مَنْ رَأَى مِنْكُمْ مُنْكَرًا فَلْيُغَيِّرْهُ بِيَدِهِ وَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ. If he has not that ability, فَبِلِسَانِهِ, then talk out. Stop it. Stop that. Because silence at the time of oppression is supporting the solemn. And if we can't do that, وَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَبِقَلْبِهِ, then hate it in your heart. وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ, and that is the weakest form of Iman. So I want to tell you, you know what is going on in the world today. And as our Hazrat Mufti Sahib from Chicago mentioned, that moving, when the Jamaats move, they move, and they move, footsteps, it brings on us rahmat. Allah will have rahmat on the ummah. Allah's help is going to fall. Allah's help is going to fall. Alright? But we can't be selfish. And I just draw my circle in my house. Or I draw my circle in my area. Or I draw my circle over my island. Make our circles the whole world. Let it be like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. If we leave here today with that, we have left with something. Allahu Akbar. Because we're going to go out, and when we see people, we will see them with the fikr and the worry, the grief, that you know what, I don't want. They are my brothers. Alright? Some of them are my Muslim brothers, and some of them are my non-Muslim brothers, but they all belong to the Ummah. Because the Ummah of Rasulullah alayhi salam is divided into 2 sections. Ummatul Ijaba, Ummatul Da'wah. The Ummatul Ijaba are those who have said Labbaik, those who have said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Ummatul Ijaba. Ummatul Da'wah is that section to whom the Da'wah is to be taken. So, if we leave here with these gifts, and we hope inshallah when the final dua is made, that Allah showers us with His Ridwan, with His love for Him, love for His Rasul, love for the sunnahs of the Rasul, love for the effort of the Rasul, love for the whole of mankind. And before I end, I was telling about Hassan al-Basri. I didn't even finish the point. Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah, Masjid Salat, I was talking about the Ijtmah dua, right? The Shuhud. It had this person, after every verse, he gets up and he walks in quick because he have a bundle of wood to carry, right? So after Salat, he gets up, whether it be after Fajr or Zohar, maybe that's the time they cut wood and white, or maybe he cut the wood before Fajr and have the pile over there. Then he cut again and have it for Zohar. So he, after every Salam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum, he is rushing out of the masjid. Hassan al-Basri is watching him. He says, one day he says, sit down. He says, why do you rush out the masjid every day to go and carry a bundle of wood? Why don't you take a 2 minutes or 3 minutes after your farz and make dua or joining with the dua and say, oh Allah, give me an animal to carry my wood. Oh Allah, give me a donkey. Give me an animal to carry my wood. That's the importance of dua. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our gathering. May Allah give us gifts from this majlis here. Allah hamsabko kabul from Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين